Colleagues, we'll just ask you to bear with us a moment. Could I ask for screens on, please? I'll ask the clerk to confirm quorum.
I can confirm quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Welcome to the 12th meeting of the Strategic Priorities and Policy Committee. I'd invite the audience, whoever is watching, to check the city's website for additional meeting detail information. Meetings can be viewed via live streaming on YouTube and the city's website. I'm going to ask Councillor Cassidy to provide the land acknowledgement, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The City of London is situated on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabeg, Haudenosaunee, Lenapehoik, and Attawandaron peoples. We honor and respect the history, languages, and culture of the diverse Indigenous people who call this territory home. The City of London is currently home to many First Nations, Métis, Inuit people today. As representatives of the City of London, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work and live in this territory.
Thank you. The City of London is committed to making every effort to provide alternate formats and communication supports for meetings upon request. To make a request specific to this meeting, please contact sppc@london.ca or 519-661-2489, extension 2425. I will look for any disclosures of pecuniary interest. I see none. Colleagues, we have two items on the consent agenda: the third report of the Diversity, Inclusion, and Anti-Oppression Community Advisory Committee and the Municipal Accommodation Tax, amended bylaw to include short-term accommodations. Councillor Helmer.
Thank you. I do have a pecuniary interest to declare on item 2.2, which is related to short-term accommodations. As I mentioned in the past, I have rented my home on Airbnb in the past, and I probably will do again in the future. So I declare a pecuniary interest on those.
Thank you. So let's deal with these separately then. That'd be appropriate. Any other declarations of pecuniary interest? All right, on the consent agenda 2.1, the third report of the Diversity, Inclusion, and Anti-Oppression Community Advisory Committee. Do I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Hamous, seconded by Councillor Plaza. Any comments or discussion? Then let's call the question. We're just working through a technical difficulty. Colleagues, will be with you shortly.
Closing the vote, the motion's passed 15-0.
2.2 is the municipal accommodation tax amended bylaw, pulled separately due to a pecuniary interest issue. I'll look for a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Van Holst, seconded by Councillor Van Meerbergen. Any comments or questions? Councillor Van Holst, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. So I see we're just correcting previous version of this, but I wanted to ask what we expect if we do are anticipating a certain amount. How much would London be generating for the municipal accommodation tax once this is being applied to the short-term accommodations?
I suspect there may be some variables, but let's ask Ms. Barbone for some clarity.
Thank you through the chair. I'm sorry, I don't have that number handy. Certainly, it's dependent upon the number of licenses that are brought forward once this goes through. I know there was an estimate in previous reports, but I don't have that handy to be able to confirm what that number was estimated to be at this time.
Thank you. Councillor, any other questions?
I do not have them.
Thanks very much. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, let's call the question.
Counselor Turner?
Through your worship, my scribe seems to be wonky. I'll vote yes.
Thanks very much.
Closing the vote, the motion's passed 14-0 with 1 recused.
Scheduled items and 1 item for direction, allocation of remaining London Community Recovery Network funding with an added communication that will be in your package from representatives of Neighborhood Legal Services. You have seen the motion put forward. I'll look for a mover, please. Councillor Cassidy, do you have a seconder? I see Councillor Fife Miller. Comments or questions? Councillor Cassidy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And the motion pretty much speaks for itself, as does the letter. I would note to committee members that this is really just advice or a suggestion, a friendly suggestion that we will be giving to the next council that takes office on November 14th. We are lame duck, unfortunately, and so we can't direct this funding as of now. It's not technically budgeted money. It was sort of earmarked and set aside, but not budgeted per se. So this will be a decision that will be made by the council of the day, starting November 14th. However, it gives staff an indication as well of the direction that we're suggesting. And in the past, business cases came forward to us directly from different organizations, whereas the direction here is that city staff actively work with community organizations. And as we saw, what's happened recently with the hunger strike and things that took place in the city, things work better when groups, organizations come together and work together. So this is the spirit of this direction, that civic administration work directly with the community. So they come forward with collaborative and cooperative approaches to how can we address some of the problems that London's facing.
Thanks very much. I think you've articulated that clearly, that this is not incumbent. In fact, we do not have the authority as a council to provide direction on the remaining funds, but certainly it would be up to the following council to do so. So with that, any other comments or questions? This has been duly moved and seconded. I see none, so with that, we will call the question.
Counselor Salih, Counselor Pelosa?
Vote manually, yay.
Manually, yay as well. Mine didn't come up.
Thank you both.
Closing the vote, the motion's passed 15-0.
Thank you very much. Deferred matters nor additional business. Colleagues, as is our way when we have all council together, this gives me an opportunity to say thank you to staff for the work that they continue to do. Particularly over this summer, I would like to ask Ms. Livingston to pass on to senior staff who I know at our request will pass on to their staffs our sincere appreciation. And a particular shout out for the most recent event we had with regard to the United Way. As encouraging as it was to be asked to participate both in singing with the group for United Way fundraiser, that's a lie. They did not ask me, so they do have wisdom. And the second part of that was that the tractor pull, which was really a fire truck and a large tanker truck, and I was not asked to participate on that as well. Again, wisdom prevailed, but I thought it showed great spirit. And this was at the A.J. Tyler Yardworks. And I, again, for everyone who participated, thank you for supporting United Way. There will be more opportunities to do that in the future. But to staff, thank you very much for all your involvement in that. And a special shout out to Jackie Davison, our MC, and she kept things going and did the countdown and was quite eloquent, actually. So it was a lot of good fun, and we appreciated it. So with that, let's look for a motion to adjourn. No one wants to leave. This is nice. I see Councillor Hopkins, seconded by Councillor Hillier. With that, can we do a show of hands, clerk? So we need you to shine, we need you to raise your hand, please.
That motion's carried.
Thanks very much, colleagues. Meeting is adjourned. We will see you at the next committee meetings and council before.